After 43 days of partial paralysis, the United States government is finally back to work. President Donald Trump has signed a funding bill passed by Congress, ending what has become the longest federal shutdown in U.S. history. The agreement brings temporary relief to millions of government employees and marks a rare bipartisan compromise following weeks of political stalemate. The bill, passed late Wednesday by both the House of Representatives and the Senate, funds government operations through the end of the fiscal year. It was signed into law by President Trump shortly after midnight at the White House, bringing to an end a shutdown that began in early October. The impasse had shuttered several government departments and left hundreds of thousands of federal workers either furloughed or working without pay. Essential services like air traffic control, national parks, and food assistance programs were disrupted, sparking public anger and mounting pressure on Washington to act.
And we're going to forget this Obamacare madness. So with all of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better shape. We went through this short-term disaster with the Democrats because they thought it would be good politically. And it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The breakthrough came after weeks of tense negotiations. Lawmakers from both parties agreed to a compromise package that excludes several contentious spending items, including new border wall allocations, which had earlier triggered the standoff. Economists estimate the shutdown cost the U.S. economy billions in lost productivity and delayed services. For many Americans, the impact was deeply personal, from delayed paychecks to suspended federal benefits. President Trump, who had initially insisted that no deal was better than a bad deal, eventually endorsed the compromise, calling it a responsible step forward, while vowing to revisit long-term budget reforms.
Toward American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens and people that came into our country illegally, from gangs, from prisons, from mental institutions. They wanted to pay them $1.5 trillion, which would have really hurt our healthcare businesses and our recipients at levels never seen before. Today we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. They tried to extort, the Democrats tried to extort our country. In just a moment I'll sign a bill exactly like we asked Democrats to send us all along many days ago. This cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on. Republicans never wanted a shutdown and voted 15 times for a clean continuation of funding. There's never been a time when one or the other party ever didn't sign a continuation. It's just a continuation, not a big deal. It's a continuation, and we'll talk later. Yet the extremists in the other party insisted on creating the longest government shutdown in American history, and they did it purely for political reasons. I want to thank Speaker Mike Johnson. Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late. People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension. But they didn't want to do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way, and they look very bad, the Democrats do. The federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again for all Americans. Again, costs are way down. Energy is way down. Gasoline is at $2.50 a gallon versus $4.70 for the Democrats. And we think we're going to hit pretty close to $2 a gallon. That's like a really massive tax cut. It's the equivalent of that. And speaking of tax cuts, our great, big, beautiful bill is giving everybody in our economy, middle income workers, low income, everybody, the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. And it's no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and very importantly, no tax on overtime. You work overtime, there's no tax.
The White House said the administration will now focus on stabilizing federal operations and addressing backlogs created by the shutdown. Meanwhile, congressional leaders from both sides have pledged to begin talks early for next year's budget to avoid another funding crisis. The United States now breathes a cautious sigh of relief. Its longest shutdown now over. But the episode leaves lasting questions about the price of political brinkmanship and how long cooperation in Washington can hold. Lindsay Menezes and Sanika Nagveka for Goa 365.